basement. Level vibes with another one. Straight up. Blackness, aye. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, I do it for the love, him not do it for no money. Straight up, him attack, educating everybody. Big up my friends and big up my family. Turn on the radio, catch the vibes, it's integrity. Straight up, Benskop stands for unity. One people, one nation, one destiny. Free up the truth in the air, even the blind can see. The deaf can hear, the dumb can talk, the cripple can walk. Boom. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, we have to gather round, grab a seat and sit down, pay attention. Education, liberation, we have to stand strong. Benskop upon the radio, lively up the program. Everybody call somebody and let them turn and tune and pon the radio and catch the boom song. We boom it up already, we have to boom it up again. Expose and reveal him. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, I do it for the love, him not do it for no money. Straight up, him attack, educating everybody. Big up my friends and big up my family. Turn on the radio, catch the vibes, it's integrity. Straight up, Benskop stands for unity. One people, one nation, one destiny. Free up the truth in the air, even the blind can see. The deaf can hear, the dumb can talk, the cripple can walk. Boom. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop.
Yeah, my name is Jacinty Caldata Francis Vietnam, and since 1965 I become a voter, and I always place my X next to the cup, and what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by one vote, they're losing it by data.
Hey fans, it's karaoke and oldies night this and every Thursday at Club Twilight Sideline Dam, Buxton. Dance to the magical songs of yesteryear by popular DJs and Camps Audio. Admission is free. Come out, let's make memories at Club Twilight Sideline Dam, Buxton North.
There and fabricate that. Unless you say who the person is, I can't comment on anonymous people.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Su Jurong?
Su? Oh, Su. My relationship? Nothing. He's a tenant in my place, yeah.
And he's a good friend of yours?
Yes, yes, he is a friend of ours.
How old are you?
I'm 28, sir.
And where do you live?
In Kitty.
You own your own home?
Not as yet.
Apply for a house lot?
No.
Well, sit down. You're not participating on the enhanced.
Oh, Jesus Christ. If cost of living double, I don't know what happened. A pound of sugar is $300 already. Flour, everything gone up. Everything just raising. You gotta get about $40,000 for buy good ration. You gotta get 3 man now. A weekend man, a monthly man, and a fortnight man.
How we gonna do a body man walk right now? You ready? Fuck, so let me go now. Hear me sing now. Body walk, body walk, body walk, everything. Body walk, truck, body walk, body walk, body walk, everything. Body, me say, body jump, body jump, body.
Good day, St. Martin. My name is Lucian Benskop, and I will be one of your postulating candidates on the Swaliga Action Movement. Sam, my current profession in St. Martin, which I started my career about over 2 decades ago, is the head of business improvement and engineering in NVGB. Reason why I joined the SAM, Swaliga Action Movement, is because it's a new wind, it's a new breeze, it's a fresh breeze from all what we were accustomed to. Why are we here today? Why am I here today? Today I'm here to tell you that there is light in the tunnel. You don't have to be afraid. We know there are things that are not going good, things that are not right, but it is fixable. We just need to have some trust and some faith that whenever we put our energy towards it, we will get there.
Calling all Guyanese and friends of Guyana. Join the annual Guyana Independence Celebration in New York on Sunday, August 18th. The Guyana Independence Parade starts at 12 p.m. at Church and Brooklyn Avenues, Brooklyn, and will proceed to Utica Avenue to Glenwood Avenue for the big after-parade concert at 2 p.m. at 1450 Utica Avenue, Brooklyn, featuring Guyanese DJs, top Guyanese artists, performances by Super Terry, Gucci Boss, Nia, Katie Cash. But wait, there's more. Natural Black, DJ Posse, an international superstar, live from Trinidad and Tobago. First time in New York, Young Brother. Young Brother live in concert. Tickets cost $20 in advance. For tickets, check Eventbrite. Pam's Bakery, 4620 Church Avenue. German's Restaurant, 410 Utica Avenue. And Caribbean Vision Center, 1012 Flatbush Avenue, Brooklyn. Celebrate Guyana to the world on Sunday, August 18th. We celebrate in big. Sponsored by Ascent Remediation and Disaster Response and Ascent Handy and Construction.
All right, big day out in Brooklyn. Sunday, August 18th. That's this Sunday, August 18th in Brooklyn. Big after parade independence concert. They have the Guyana Independence Parade. Independence is it May month, but they're now having this post-independence parade in Brooklyn, and then after that, is the Labor Day and all sort of things. So Brooklyn is going to be sweet, sweet, sweet. And I'm wondering, any minister of the installed PPP regime, anybody's going to go by there and peep? Are they going to send anybody to see what's happening? I don't know. Lots and lots of DJs are going to be there. DJ Flex, DJ Danger Vibes, DJ Cash, DJ Red Rum, right? So all sort of things. And reality, far from reality, far from reality. Natural black, far from reality. Because if you ask me what's happening in Guyana, there's nothing that these people are doing, these vagabonds in office. And that's right, the vagabonds, we talk about the vagabonds in office. Not much is being done, not much. It's corruption upon corruption
upon corruption upon corruption. And, not so long ago in a conversation, someone reminded me or brought to my attention, they say, Mark, Irfan Ali, people think that Jagdeo is corrupt. I repeat, they say that people think that Jagdeo is corrupt. Well, we know the guy is corrupt. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Jagdeo is corrupt. Ask Sue. Ask these guys. And they will tell you that Jagdeo is corrupt. They know that. They're aware of that. And we are supposed to be aware of that. Because the widespread perception is that he is corrupt. He wiggles his way out of things, and I really do mean he wiggles his way out of things. But a lot of you might be surprised to know that there's a high possibility that Irfan Ali is far more corrupt than Jagdeo. Somebody says that Irfan Ali makes Jagdeo looks like a schoolboy on the issue of corruption. The minute Irfan Ali got an opportunity to become a minister, we all know what happened, right? Hey, we don't have to spell it out. We all know what happened right off the bat. 31 years old. Look, take a look. Gaisuko's property, lands, all sorts of things, coveting lands, all manner of things. And you can just imagine, this was when he was a minister of housing, one of the most corrupt ministries in the entire Guyana. The Ministry of Housing is one of the most corrupt agencies or ministries. And Irfan Ali, serious allegations were leveled against him when he was the minister. If you guys are not hearing, you guys are not hearing about a lot of corruption, lots and lots of corruption that you guys are not hearing about. It's happening right there at the Ministry of Housing. And then you get the lands and surveys, corruption galore, guys. They're taking people's lands away. They're giving it to friends and cronies and all these things. So the word on the street in Guyana is that Irfan Ali is 10 times more corrupt than Jagdeo. 10 times more corrupt than Tanti-Moral Jagdeo, the butcher from Unity. Now, that might surprise you guys, right? Take a look. Over the past year or so, almost all of the persons who are under the microscope of U.S. law enforcement agencies, majority of them are connected to Irfan Ali. Majority of them. Just take a look. Take a look at who were sanctioned recently. You know what I mean? Connected to Irfan Ali. People who have had their visas revoked, connected to Irfan Ali. People who are wanted by U.S. law enforcement agencies are connected to Irfan Ali. And so when the person brought to my attention, hey, Mark, hey, how are you? Oh, really? That Jagdeo is like a schoolboy when it comes to corruption. But this guy, Irfan Ali, every single thing, it's about making money and corruption upon corruption upon corruption under Irfan Ali's so-called government. Corruption with every single thing. Speaking of corruption, you guys will faint if you hear about the level of corruption at the Ministry of Housing. Irfan Ali was once the minister, so he knows what people alleged that he did while he was the minister. The allegations, serious allegations As Sharma would say, serious alligator. Serious allegations of widespread corruption is happening there at Lands and Surveys and the Housing Ministry. Ministers, you're hearing that they're giving out house lots to friends and cronies and friends and family. You're hearing that the senior minister of housing was supposed to get married to Gayatri, and whoever named Gayatri, I don't know, right? And all these things, and they have over 400 house lots that they hide, and all things that they give it. I don't know. Those are things that you're hearing about some of those officials at at Guyana Ministry of Housing. Sorry, the Ministry of Housing. Corruption galore. Some of these ministers, they own big apartment buildings. They're renting it out. Cronies and little flat-foot hustlers. Y'all think it's easy, no? Y'all think it's easy? Corruption galore. Don't we? If the two ministers the two ministers at the Ministry of Housing, if they're watching, two ministers. We got some information we'll share on the housing and corruption. Lots of information we will share about the housing and corruption. Good night to all of you. Welcome to Straight Up. My name is Mark Benshaw. What's bothering you guys? Other than the corruption in Guyana, other than the filthy water, other than they've disrespected the teachers, and now we're hearing Barajak there cussing out. The usual thing with this guy, the usual thing, cuss out. When they don't get their way, guess what they do? They cuss out and they cuss out and they cuss out because they don't know anything better. They can't govern better. They just can't. It's corruption upon corruption, thief, night and day, thief. If any pastor watching this program right now, any pastor that's watching, you got to pray for Guyana, guys. You guys have to pray for Guyana. And if any pundit watching, same thing, swaha. If any Meiji, Guyana needs help. Guyana needs help. Again, I repeat, lots of problems, the school system, billions of dollars, but yet kids got to go and utilize a filthy latrine. Well, that's nothing new. It's been happening for a while, but I'm glad that reality kicking in and folks are now saying, oh, really? Yeah. Why are some of the politicians surprised that those things were there before? It just so happened that politicians turn a blind eye then, but it makes sense now. So they're like, oh, really? Kids are using that sort of latrine? Filthy. But apart from the politicians now opening their eyes and exposing these things that were there donkey years. Now it's been there. It's always been there. Only if they were paying attention to that, then they would have noticed. But, elections time, politicians, regardless of who they are, they tend to see things that they ignored before, right? Anyways, good night to all of you. Coretta MacDonald, the Member of Parliament, Shadow Minister of Education. She is going to be on tonight. We'll chat with her. We'll talk to her about what Auntie Merle is saying. We'll talk about the increase that the PPP is running from, the disrespect of teachers, all these things they're doing. But yet they want to jump out and make it appear as though, oh, it's Coretta MacDonald. Oh, it's McDonald. Oh, it's the opposition. Oh, it's every single the blame game. Jack Dale loves to play the blame game. Everyone he blames. Every single one he blames. Every single. But they do not accept responsibility. You get billions of dollars, right, Joan Robertson? Billions of dollars, they push it into the sugar industry. A sugar industry, an industry that is dying and dying and dying. It's dead. The sugar industry died as a result of the PPP, died as a result of Bharat Jagdeo. Every single thing died for Jagdeo. Every single thing. 25 minutes after 9 o'clock. My name is Mark Benshaw. Get your eyes out, or get your head out of the gutter, guy. Get your mind out of the gutter. Every single thing, dead, died, done with. The economy, done with. The country, almost died. Thank God that the APNU AFC rescued Guyana, right, Patricia Wren? Rescued Guyana. Thank God for the APNU coalition government. Thank God. Some of you may want to cuss from now till Dike, but thank God for the coalition. They weren't perfect, but they were far better than these crooks in office. All right, so what else is happening before we prepare for Miss Coretta McDonald? We want to talk a little bit. Now, Jagdeo has a problem with Coretta. He's always picking. He has a problem with Coretta. He may have a problem with women who are better looking than him or who are smarter than him. And then he has a problem with tall, strapping, dark-skinned men. I mean, right? Sorry about that. Right? He has a problem. He's fixated on those things. And I'm beginning to wonder why. I'll take a quick break. But I'm beginning to wonder why. Take a look at this, guys. Take a look at this. Just imagine hundreds of millions of dollars. Thank you, Miss Booker. Hundreds of millions of dollars. Hey, guys, take the opportunity to welcome Dennis Atwell. He's back with us. He got his, what is it? Somebody probably got him a new phone, but good to see Dennis back. Give Dennis 30 seconds and he's going to start off with Nigel. He talks about nothing else, but we'll just watch. Give him 30 seconds more. Good to see you though. Dennis, give him 30 seconds before he starts off with Nigel. Okay. Dennis is a good guy. He means well. Take a look at this. Just take a look at this, guys. Take a look at this. Little kids, teachers. Everyone got to drink this. But yet they're saying that Guyana is such a beautiful place. Of course, it's beautiful. But the economy is dying and dying and dying under the PPP regime. Under the PPP regime, it's dying. There's no jobs. There's nothing. Teachers are insulted. All manner of things are happening under the PPP regime. Every single day you look in the papers, some depression, and all manner of things happening in Guyana. All right, our operators say, hey, we got to remind them that Sunday, August 18th, that is this Sunday, just pack up your grip and take a trip down there at the parade. You know, walk with your flag. There you go. Walk with your flag, guys. Our operator is saying that Miss Coretta McDonald should be ready. Well, we are ready for Miss McDonald, but we're just not seeing her in the backstage. We want to see her so that we can get the ball rolling. We got some questions for her. In the meantime, let me just say good night to all of you again. It's always nice to have you guys on. I'm reading some of your comments. Dion Benjamin. Let's see what Dion Benjamin is saying here. BJ feels teachers don't have a brain. Well, most teachers are so. almost all the teachers have a brain. Jack Deere doesn't have a brain. He has a brain that is wired to make the country corrupt. So Miss Coretta McDonald, that's according to Dion Benjamin, Miss Coretta McDonald is to be blamed for teachers. She's damn right. Of course, Miss Coretta McDonald is going to be with us hopefully soon. Dennis Atwell is saying that I went and protest mark, clean voters list and biometrics. Wow. At least Dennis Atwell is saying something different other than every minute Nigel and Nigel. Like he's Nigel Baku. But I'm glad that folks are heading out there. I'm glad that Dennis is heading out there now. I'm glad that some AFC folks are heading out there now, finally. But we want to see more folks in front of GCOM. We really want to see more folks at GCOM. Not seeing Miss Coretta McDonald, please, I'm not sure. Probably having some connection problems at her side of the studio. But I need to talk with her as quickly as possible. Miss McDonald, we're waiting for you. We're waiting for you. Miss Fidel Albert is saying, Mark, be careful. Coretta is, she's saying Coretta is my family. No, she exposing me, giving all my family out there. But I've known Coretta for a while. From the quarantine there, I think she went to Magawan Primary. I attended Alnis Primary. So big up to the Alnis Primary folks. If you attended Alnis Primary, those were the good days. Magawan, or even Wellington Park Primary. So I went to Wellington Park Primary. I was so bright at Wellington Park Primary. They put me out and sent me to Alnis. I was even brighter. They sent me back to Wellington Park Primary. I was a lovely kid, man. You guys can just imagine, huh? You guys can just imagine. But look, story, hey, people is just all sorts of things. Somebody say, Mark, why you don't mention Norton? Every day, what I mention Norton about? If I'm talking about the opposition leader, I gotta mention something. Are you talking about the opposition Norton, or are you talking Norton Street? Oh man, just a dry. Why you don't mention Norton? Oh, Father. Every day somebody want to blame me for something. No, I don't mention Norton. No, I don't mention Norton. Oh, God. Yeah, I'll just know how to raise my bumps. Let's try to get Miss Coretta McDonald. She's going to be on with us. Can't wait. I haven't seen her in a while. I know Friday's payday. I know she getting paid tomorrow. She getting paid tomorrow. How are you doing, man?
Mark, good night to you. Good night to all your viewers. How are you doing?
I am great. I have never been so happy in my life. Don't ask me why, but I'm just so happy. I spoke with some folks from Alnis Primary. They reminded me of what a good student I was in Prep A. And then something happened when I got into Prep B and for standard. Things go right. But how are you doing, though? Good to see you.
Well, Mark, I am doing really, really great. You see, I feel good when I can cause people like Jack View to get upset. I feel good about that. And if you notice how I'm dressed,
can I say something
this evening, Mark? You notice how I'm dressed this evening because I'm happy. I enjoy it.
We are not ready for Tanti Morlas yet. We just want to find out some other things. It's really, really good to see you. People are cautioning me. Mark, somebody says that Coretta and I are related. I don't know. The person has a crystal ball, but hi, cuz, if that's the case.
Hey, cuz.
So, how was your day like, and what are you guys doing recently before we get to the whole teacher strike and so forth? You had a busy schedule today. How are things?
Well, Mark, today was quite busy for me, like yesterday and the day before. I'm traveling, doing my regular rounds within the country, meeting teachers, which is what I'm mandated to do anyhow. So whether we're on August vacation, Easter vacation, meeting teachers is one of the priorities for me. And so I've been around yesterday, today. I just came in from Linden. And of course, after meeting the teachers, then we have a little sip and chat. And then I made my way to Georgetown.
And I'm so happy that you've made your way to Georgetown. We spoke earlier in the day. You did say you were heading. And one of the things that I got to say that I like about politicians and is that they keep their word. And you always keep your word, which is good.
I try to do most of the times.
Which is good. Thank you. Well, oh yeah, I forgot you stood me up a couple of times. So I just remembered. So how are the teachers feeling, ma'am? Especially they're being pushed against the wall and being disrespected by this PPP regime. How are they feeling as you visit them?
Well, teachers are upset as we speak. Teachers have said to us, as their executive officers, their elected officers, not officers that have been selected, mind you, they're elected officers. They have said to us, coming out of the 2019-2023 proposal, that this government has asked us to actually throw on the back burner. They were upset then. They were upset that there was a strike action or industrial action, whichever one you want to call it. And coming out of that, we were actually forced to return to schools because of the plans of this demonic set of people who we have running government, because their attempt was to take the teachers' names off of the payroll. And, we couldn't allow that. And so we had to have the teachers return to schools before the time we wanted them to return to school. And we wanted our teachers to return to school the day before school closed, but we had to go in 1 week before so as to safeguard our members and their salaries at the end of the month. Of course, the salaries are meager, and to lose your entire salary or to not have any salary for the month when they take your names off the payroll, that's another story. I know you're kind enough and you would have been helping some of our teachers, but we weren't prepared to take those kinds of chances. So we acted responsibly and we went into schools. And so teachers are upset that with being out there for 75 days, for making all the other sacrifices that they make, we are now into a new phase of negotiations. And the government is coming to us with 7, 8, 9, now 10% salary increases. And they're not prepared to accept that.
And that is so right, because you see the billions of dollars that they put into sugar industry, and sugar is really not sweet at all anymore as it used to be. It is so unfair to the teachers. It is so unfair for the sacrifices the teachers have made over the years, that they're being neglected and disrespected by the PPP regime. Let me touch on some of the promises made. I know in the past they spoke about duty-free concessions for certain category of teachers. They spoke about house lots and all these things. Do you mind to give us an update, please, on those things?
All right, let me say to you, Mark, the proposal that we would have submitted to this government is not anything strange. All that is being changed from proposal to proposal, which is the multi-year proposal, are figures. The structure remains the same. And I want your viewers to know that the first multi-year agreement that was ever signed by the GTU, because there was always a 1 year or 2 years agreement. The first multi-year agreement that we ever had was signed in 2007. And that agreement was signed under the PPP when Barra Jagdeo was president then. And so when they're going on and on and on, they're behaving as if they don't know what this is all about. It was the first one was signed under them. And in that agreement, we spoke about salaries matters and non-salaries matters and other welfare matters for teachers. So in the salaries matters, we talk about allowances for additional qualifications. We speak about salary increases, which is the main item on the proposal. We speak about allowances for head teachers and those kinds of things. In the non-salaries matter, or in the non-salaries issues, we speak about housing, which is a housing revolving project. And by the way, that housing revolving project that was signed way back then when Jack Deere was president, it never got on the way, never kicked off, never. It didn't even raise its head. And when you talk about incompetence, Barrow Jack Deere. So under his stewardship as president for all those years, we could not have gotten the housing revolving project started. So no teacher benefited from that aspect of the project that we signed on to. And after then, we would have signed on again with them. Nothing happened. So I must make that known. And then we have the duty-free concessions. We have the house lots, which no teacher ever got again under the PPP, under Jack Deere as president, under Ramatara as president. No teacher was able to benefit from those two aspects in the agreements we signed. We talked about weekly council allowances, which is every 4 years. Every 4 years, a teacher is entitled to 1 month leave with pay. In the public service, you have annual leave every year, but every 4 years, teachers are entitled to that. We spoke also about the teachers who live on the coast, but they opt to teach in the hinterland by promotion or they request to go there and transfer. In those cases, teachers are given living quarters to live in, and of course, in those living quarters, we expect to have the basics. Many times, teachers go to empty living quarters and don't talk about the condition. That's another story we'll talk about. We also spoke about, in that same arrangement, that teachers are supposed to be given airfare, bus fare. Teacher's spouse, and 2 children under the age of 18. That's a hassle too. In many instances, our teachers who operate in Region 9, in Region 8, they're not given the option to travel by air. They have to track that slushy road, spend 18 and all kinds of hours to come out. And nobody is sympathetic towards that. But you know what? Our teachers they remain committed, and they continue to go with that kind of hassle. Many times our teachers have to pay their own fares, and they have to wait for long periods to be reimbursed these monies. And that has been signed on to in an agreement. We spoke about teachers who, we also spoke about teachers wanting to go to clinic. If you have chronic illnesses and you have to go to clinic, that you should be granted time off. That as well has been a hassle for teachers. So this proposal that we have here now, it covers a more in-depth asking from the government, where we have said to them we want to see everything spelt out in that document. We talk about the hinterland teachers who receive station allowances and hardline allowances. They also have an RAI allowance that is given to the teachers because where they live, cost of living is double what we face on the coast. And that in this new proposal now, of course, our askings have doubled. So where we had 100 duty-free concessions per year, we would have asked for 300 duty-free concessions. Taking into consideration, we had to shelve a 2019-2023 proposal because the government was not prepared to look at that. And we allowed good sense to prevail, and we have produced a 2024-2026 document. Now, in this year, 2024, the government is saying to us, they're not prepared to honor our request of 39.5%. They are prepared to offer us 10%. That's their final offer. I mean, it can't get more disgusting than this.
Certainly beyond disgusting. Shame on the PPP regime. They have no respect for teachers. They have no respect for public servants. I noticed somebody in the audience asking about workers, hospital workers. The PVP has absolutely no respect for workers at all. But they're showing their disdain for teachers. You mentioned the duty-free concessions and all these things that Jack Dale and the PVP did never honored. But they're giving these multi-million-dollar companies 10-year duty-free, tax-free, and all these things. Shame on the PVP regime. You know, one of the things I want you to touch on, I don't know why it tickles Jack Dale so much. It annoys him that you are the General Secretary of the Guyana Teachers Union and you're also a member of Parliament. But what he's not saying is that the PVP has a member of Parliament who is also the president of the Guyana Agricultural Workers Union. Why is he picking? Why is he picking on you and not that guy who sits there as president of the Guyana Agricultural Workers Union, GAU, who is also a member of Parliament of the PPP regime? Why is he picking on you?
Before I go there, Mark, let me say to you and to our viewers that in 2016, the APNU government then offered teachers 10% in 2016 with a $231 billion budget they had in 2016. And they offered teachers then 10%. That was 2016. This is 2024, 8 years after. Let me say to you, in that year, Jagdio cost the government out in that year. And it's there for us to see where Jagdio said the 2016 budget, he expected huge salary increases for public servants. And it was a shame that the coalition government would offer public servants and teachers 10%. But in 2024, Jagdio is saying to teachers, you must take 10% and be contented with that. When we have sat in Parliament and passed a $1.146 trillion budget. You imagine that? This was a $231 billion budget in 2016. And here we have $1.146 trillion budget. We heard the cry that there was no fiscal space in this year's budget to offer higher increases for teachers. But yet we have seen a supplementary budget passing last Friday for $40.7 billion. 9.5 of that is going to Gaisuko. But let me touch on...
But before you get to that, the coalition government was a government for the people. They needed time to clean up that mess that the PVP left for 23 years. Of course, the coalition government, they weren't perfect, but they did a heck of a lot, far more within that short space of time for all Guyanese than the PVP did for 20-something years. So when you mentioned that the coalition government had a heart towards teachers, that was factual, because the coalition government had sincere, honest, for the most part, hardworking, patriotic Guyanese heading the government. And so there's no comparison to this corrupt PVP regime. Now, why is Jack Davis so fixated on you, Miss McDonald, being the General Secretary of the Guyana Teachers Union and sitting as a member of Parliament? He's always picking on you. This guy is probably getting nightmares. If he's not picking on you, he's picking on Burke. If he's not picking on Burke, he's picking on Norton. If he's not picking on Norton, he's picking on Lincoln Lewis. If he's not picking on Lincoln Lewis, he's picking on somebody. He's always picking. Something is wrong with men who loves to pick. But why is he picking on you, though?
Oh, well, you know, Mark, let me say this. I said it before. I think there are only two women, two women in Jagdio's life who would have said no to him. Two women. His mother and Coretta MacDonald. the two women who have said no to Jagdio in his life.
I thought for a moment, I don't know for what reason, I don't know, I'm being a bit mischievous when he's. Anyways, I'm glad that Kwame's name isn't mentioned, but go ahead, please. Go ahead, ma'am.
Yes, two women who have ever said no to Jagdio in his life. Jagdio can't deal with women, strong women, if you notice that. And if we remember the way he treated Varshni, you know that Varshni, and all of us know Varshni is quite an intelligent young woman. And she doesn't have to wait for anybody to lead her and to make decisions for her. She can analyze things and make her own decisions. Jagdio couldn't deal with that. And he's having the same problem with Coretta MacDonald, where he cannot lead Coretta MacDonald. He cannot direct me on what I should do and on what I should not do. And it's for that simple reason. Jagdio continues to peg away at Coretta MacDonald. But I want him to know that while he may feel in his mind that he's doing something good, our teachers are intelligent and they will not fall for the nonsense. So when he throws the political thing into it and thinking that, oh, that will sponsor our teachers up, you're only making our teachers even more resolute, Jagdio. And I've said to him before, since he got to that 6-0 number, something about that 6-0 isn't working for him. He's even more crazy now, disillusional, and I don't know what is it that he's fantasizing over. But I feel good when I can be Jagdio's coffee. I feel good, because it keeps him bubbling, bouncing, jumping here, there, everywhere. He doesn't even know where to start, where to stop. I feel good. Because if I wasn't doing anything, he wouldn't, and affecting him, he wouldn't be mentioning my name and all the other names that he keeps mentioning. And you notice he has a new kid on the block now, Nigel Hughes. So when it's not Lincoln and it's not Norton and it's not somebody else, David Hines and Rickford Burke and Mark Benchcup and Melly Mel, it's now Nigel Hughes. And so it's been a while since he didn't mention Coretta. So he has gotten an opportunity now to mention Coretta.
You're back there. And Jagdio, it's inconsequential. People should, he's just a waste of time, a waste of human space, mind you. But he doesn't mention, he doesn't say to the people that GAU, Guyana Agriculture, Workers Union, they have the president is the PPP. He sits there as a member of parliament for the PPP, but yet Jagdio doesn't tell people that. And there was nobody there at the press conference to ask him those sort of questions. Isn't there conflict of interest right there? But he doesn't talk about that. But he talked about Coretta MacDonald as the GTU General Secretary. Why does he leave that guy out from the GAU? Why, you think? We all know, but why you think?
See, Jagdio is just a wicked man. That's all. He's just wicked and evil. And he feels that if he says this to the teachers over and over, it is going to stick in their minds to say, you know what, Coretta MacDonald, because that's the picture they try to paint. Coretta MacDonald is the one who is stalling this entire process. Coretta MacDonald is the one. Just the same way they don't want to get with the housing revolving project. None of the commercial banks are entertaining them because there is no interest to be gained, no monies to be gained from that exercise, except that of administrative costs that the teachers will have to pay. And we have referred them to the Guyana Public Service Credit Union, where thousands, over 4,000 of our members are members of that credit union. And we said, look, engage the Guyana Public Service Credit Union and let's talk about this housing revolving project. And let's see if they can put up a proposal for us to administer this project. You know what? Up to a day like today, they have not engaged the Guyana Public Service Credit Union. And this has been around since 2020. We've been talking about this. Fair enough, the Guyana Public Service Credit Union, they had some hitches. That has been resolved now, but they are still not prepared to engage the Guyana Public Service Credit Union to seek their help to help us to administer this revolving project, because this project is where you're going to lend the teachers some monies. You're not going to be charging interest on the monies that you're lending teachers. And as teachers repay, more teachers will be brought into the project. And so it will be revolving. It will be revolving as teachers pay, and another 2 or 3 teachers can get on board. As those start paying, another 3 teachers can get on board. And the monies we are going to be offering to teachers would be somewhere between $5 million, but that you can use to start building your home or to renovate your homes if teachers want to renovate their homes. They are just wicked and evil. I can say to you and your viewers, Mark, that C. Paul Narayan, my colleague, when the PPP were in opposition, C. Paul Narayan took industrial action against the coalition government. But I never one day heard any of the ministers or the president or the prime minister within the coalition government jump out on a press conference or at every other press conference to cuss them out or to cuss him out or to say that he's taking orders from Freedom House. But every time Coretta MacDonald has to stand up for teachers or for citizens in general, you hear, I'm taking orders from Congress, please. Well, you know, I have a right to take orders from Congress, please, if you think that I'm taking orders from Congress, please.
Sorry about that. But he doesn't say, sorry about that. He doesn't say who C. Paul Narayan takes orders from. Nope. Whenever they get these big billions of dollars of deals for Gaisuco. Gaisuco is one of the most corrupt agencies in Guyana. Billions upon billions upon billions of dollars, but nothing is questioned about that. Absolutely nothing. But the teachers want something, some sort of increase, and they're always questioning it. Maybe McDonald, I don't know.
Mark, and I need to let your viewers know, Coretta MacDonald is not the first member of parliament that GTU has ever had. We had Colin Bino there, who served as regional vice president Berbice, and as also as president of the Guyana Teachers Union. He was a member of parliament when he was the regional vice president. We had Genevieve Allen, who served as first vice president for the Guyana Teachers Union while she served as a member of parliament. We had John Adams, who served as a member of parliament while he was a general counsel and an executive council member for the Guyana Teachers Union. We also have serving right now my colleague German Figuera, but you don't hear any cuss down coming, you know, Coretta MacDonald. Maybe he likes that name, and I'm hoping that God will grant him, you know, that kind of reproductive process so that he can have a daughter, and maybe he can name her Coretta.
You never know. Lots and lots of money is being spent for different operations. But is it an issue with the Guyana Teachers Union? And there's some clause that says the general secretary. Is it a specific target of the general secretary, or he's just targeting you per se?
He is just targeting me, Mark, because there is absolutely, like I said before, we've had how many? 4 parliamentarians before me. There is absolutely nothing in our constitution that speaks to if you're holding a political office or you're wearing a political cap that you cannot be. And if you check the constitutions of the trade unions across the Caribbean, you're going to see, and Guyana, as I should say, our constitution provides for any citizen to belong to any organization they wish to belong to. That's a democratic right. And I should say here, just the other day, the PPP had their Congress, and the permanent secretary, Ministry of Education, was featured there a whole lot. And when persons commented about it, Priya Manik-Chan jumped off in her usual cuss-out mode. And she said then, the permanent secretary has a right to be where she wants to be because the Constitution gives her that right. And she wants to know whether people want to take that right away from her permanent secretary. And so here it is. You say one thing with one mouth, but they say something else with another mouth. It's okay for the PS to be decked out in a red and black at the Congress. But it's not okay for Coretta MacDonald to be General Secretary and to be a parliamentarian for the coalition. Maybe if I was parliamentarian for the PPP, it would have been all right. But that's a dream that they'll never have come through. I will continue to stand for fairness, for rights, and for justice. The PPP doesn't offer that.
Thank you so much. September is around the corner. We know the PPP, they're always in the habit of last minute contracts and all these things. The schools are not in good shape. What news are you getting as kids are preparing to head back to school? Are these schools prepared? I don't know. What's happening?
Well, some of the schools are being prepared, and those are the ones that are most visible to your eyes. But some of those that are not visible to your eyes, you see in 2024 with a $1.146 trillion budget, we see schools where children have to use pit latrines. You know, pit latrines they're using in a day like this.
Are you speaking the truth? Pit latrine?
Pit latrines they're using.
Under the PPP, are you serious? $1 billion economy?
Under the PPP.
Fastest growing economy in the world.
Under the PPP. Pit latrines under the PPP. And I can say to you, Mark, I was in Linden today, and the teachers were complaining that when school closed the other day, they had issues where they weren't having water in schools. They had to be fetching water in buckets to flush toilets. Well, you know, I read the right act to them today. So they know how they are going to act when school resumes come September 3rd. I can say to you, let me get the name of the primary school. Philippi. Pit latrines. I know that there are reports that there are some issues at President's College. We've had some during the last school year where we saw rats, just like the Demerara Regional Hospital, rats running on the students' beds.
That's not true. That cannot be true in a $1 billion. No, not in Dubai.
At President's College. Rats? At President's College. We saw the mildew bread that the children were having. We saw all of that. We saw the little bit of stew that they were having on the rice.
You know, some folks they don't realize that I'm being sarcastic there. I've seen it all. It's all under the PPP regime.
Under the PPP.
Whenever they're exposed, guess what they say? Oh, it's propaganda. Oh, that's why I think, are you serious?
They like to say that. They like to tell you that. But you know, I should have sent some of those pictures to you that I got from President's College. So President's College is under the radar right now. And I want to put them on alert that President's College will remain President's College. And the conditions under which we have President's College at this time, they're going to fix it. Could you imagine the students from Mahdia? They brought a lot of the students from Mahdia Secondary School and they dumped them at President's College. Those students, because they're frustrated with one, the movement from where they were accustomed to an area where they're not accustomed to, two, the kind of food that they now have to eat that they're not accustomed to be eating, the students were acting out. We had a fire that was set there, allegedly by a student in the dorm. Thirdly, they dumped the students there with no form of counseling whatsoever. None was given to them. The students watched their peers being burnt to death. The trauma that they went through, nobody stopped to offer any form of serious counseling to those students. And they just removed them from one location and dumped them at another location. We're on the lookout for you, Priya Manik Chand. Saddam Hussein, we're on the lookout for you. Madam Autar, the PS, y'all better fix it right at President's College, because the doors of that college will not be reopened when school reopens if you don't fix it. So with all the big, we have no difficulty with schools being built all over the place. And of course, you know, Mark and your viewers, that's how they get to steal the monies. When they go out on these building projects, when they do the road contracts, that's how they steal the monies. And we know for sure that there are allegations that contractors have to give a part of the contract, a part of those monies to the PPP government for campaign. We know all those things. And so that's how they can steal the money. You see, if they pay teachers higher salaries, they can't steal monies. There, nothing can go into their pockets. And so they're jumping to construct new school here, new school there, construct a road here, construct a road there. And like one of my followers on Facebook said, she suspects that they're putting baking powder in the mixture for the road because all these roads are just swelling and they're bursting. And I would agree with her. But that's how they steal the money. But with regards to our school buildings, I am moving around to Georgetown and I'm watching what is happening there and I'm taking pictures. And come next week, I'm going to be doing the same thing as well as some of my other colleague officers. They're going to be doing the same thing. So come the morning of September, when school is ready to reopen and the conditions are not right, we'll have a different song being sung then.
I'm wondering, and thank you so much. Lots of complaints of folks out in Blackbush Polder.
Yes.
Lots of complaints from people of Coretta, Skeldon, and even Ituni and Kokwani. The health center there in Ituni, we're hearing a lot of complaints. However, that school in Bamia, almost 3 years now, Ms. McDonald. What's happening? Priya Manikchan was in Lindon. They're opening some technical institute, repairing it, all sort of things, but not a word about that school.
And Mark,
in
she
Lindon,
was there.
Bamia.
Mark, she was there again, turning the sod for a new nursery school. Not a word about Bamia, and I suspect that they're probably training for the next Olympics, and they're going to get the gold medal. I suspect that's what's happening here.
If they are training for the next Olympics, I hope it's not wrestling because not wrestling, break dancing. I would love to see Priya there at challenging that Australian woman for break dancing. Miss McDonald.
It's disgusting.
I don't know if we should take a quick break. Then again, we can't go to the toilet. We can't. This here, on a serious note, this is what the students at Philippi Primary School, a $1 billion industry, oil industry, billions of dollars being given, free money given to Gaisuko, billions of dollars for the Ministry of Education. Priya says she cares. She loves the students. She cares about the teachers. Priya can't fit here. I'm sure she wouldn't allow anybody close to her to go and use this latrine, as we call it, on the latrine pit. This is what the students at Philippi, and this is not new. It is not. You could tell it is just not. Shame on the PPP regime. Why? Because it's still up in Philippi? That these kids don't deserve better? Look at their classrooms. Billions of dollars, Miss Coretta McDonald.
Yep.
Look at where the kids, look at the plastic bags and look at what the kids have to go with Priya Manikchan, Irfan Ali, and these guys. Are they willing to send their kids to this sort of school?
Not at all. Not at all.
You know what? Jagdev and Irfan and Priya, they're full of, you know what? Talk to us, Miss McDonald. How do you feel?
Man, look, Mark and your viewers, this is what the ordinary man has got to go through. You know, you would never see something like this at Queen's College, you know. You would never see something like this. Let me say to you, when Priya's daughter was awarded Queen's College, even before the results came out, another wing was added to Queen's College, you know. Another wing was added there so that they have adequate space to accommodate the students who are awarded that school or who are going to be awarded that school. All the facilities that you could think about, they have them. The storerooms at Queen's College, they're overflowing with textbooks. And we have other schools like West Rumvelt Secondary, Dolphin Secondary, South Rumvelt Secondary, Carmel Secondary, they don't have textbooks. But at Queen's College, the storerooms are packed to capacity with textbooks, all the departments, and it's simply because Priya's daughter is attending that school. Some of the high-ranking officers within the Ministry of Education, their children are attending that school. Other ministers' children are attending that school. And so they don't care about the ordinary man whose children are attending the schools in South Georgetown and some in East Georgetown and in Region 9 and somewhere in Manchester and the Quarantine and those places and Firish and so, they're not interested. They're not simply not interested. You know, and as I tell you this about the school, I can tell you about, let me tell you a little bit about the roads. You look in some areas, you go to Bloomfield, you're going to see all the streets there, asphalted streets. Go to Liverpool, go to Manchester, go to Ulverston, you're going to find concrete strips. You know, you go to Denhamstel, concrete strips. But you go to Lenora and you're going to see what kind of roads we have there. You pass through CI, pass through Tushen, you're going to see the roads there. And these are the people who talk about we're a government of the people. Shame on these folks. And when Bharat Jagdeo jumps off there, let me say to Bharat Jagdeo, you have no moral authority to talk to anybody unless you can bring Sue and clarify with us your arrangements with Sue. Until such time, shut up, Bharat Jagdeo.
Exactly. Ms. Coretta McDonald here with us this evening. Shame on the PPP regime. Shame. I just can't believe this here. Yes, let me just say these photographs are compliments of Nigel Hughes. And thank you so much, Nigel, for bringing this to our attention. I just thought I'd give the credit for these photographs that I got from Nigel Hughes' page. But shame on the PPP regime. A $1 billion economy. And look what's happening here. Ms. McDonald, I don't know. What's the mood like as people on the ground as they prepare for back to school, parents and so forth? What's happening, especially the single moms? Maybe soon we'll hear another round of cash grants. School cash grants.
Because you know what? Lots of parents are crying out. While, yes, the minister goes out there and she boasts $45,000, $45,000. But you know what the parents are crying out? The parents are saying, is what really wrong with these sellers out here? What really wrong with these people? Like they think Auntie Priya gave us $1 million, drop the prices for the school clothes. We can't afford to buy 2 and 3 shirts for our children because of the cost of this school. The shirt, the trousers, the skirt, the uniform, or which we call the kimono, the sneakers that they have to put on their feet, the backpacks. They can't afford to outfit their children because of the prices that are attached to it, the cost for these things. And these clowns jump around the place and 45,000. I just came from Linden, and you know that the teachers were complaining in the Birdbeast River that they have to get their own boats to paddle to go to school because there's no community boat. And I remembered when the coalition was in power, the coalition had community boats in some of these areas that was used to transport teachers and learners to their schools. The teachers have to have their own boats now if you want transportation. And this government, they jump around the place and tell you about this and tell you about that. I must say, Mark, that with our teachers refusing the 10%, they had a right to do that. And it's not Coretta McDonald telling them what to do. Our teachers are intelligent. The duty-free concessions, it's only a certain category of teachers will receive that. So don't let them give people the impression that it's all across the board. It's only the head teachers, the deputy head teachers, the heads of departments, and the senior masters and mistresses, as long as they're eligible, will receive it. It's not all the head teachers. Only if you're eligible, you will receive. And let me say to you that in the 11 in educational districts, 4 categories we had to deal with with 100 duty free, and we have 11 educational districts. So each category is entitled to 25 duty free concessions. So you check the 11 educational districts with 25 duty free concession for each category, and you tell me how many head teachers or how many SMs or deputies or HODs will be able to receive duty-free concession from that education district. In many instances, it's 2 or 3 for that entire year. And so we always have a backlog. Thanks to the coalition when they were in government in 2016, we were able to get 300 duty-free concession as an amnesty to clear up some of the backlog that we have, because we have been fighting for these for our teachers in representation of our teachers. And because of the system that is in place, many of our head teachers work for 35 years, 34 years, 37 years, and they can't receive a duty-free concession. Now, the PPP government is saying to us now that apart from these 4 categories of teachers, they're prepared to offer teachers who are 52 years old automatic duty-free concession. Oh man, at 52 years old, Mark, with the madness on our streets, why can't you say, all right, teachers who have served 30 years in the profession, let's put it at 30, you're entitled to duty-free concession. And let me say, this duty-free concession is 1,300, 1,500, and 1,800 cc's. They don't consider those teachers who live in regions 1, 8, 9, 7, and those teachers who live in Kokwani. They don't consider them to give them a higher CC. They have no consideration for that. And then they want to talk about their love. They love, how much they love. So that duty-free is not everybody. And it's a once in a lifetime duty-free you're getting, not like the public service where they get every 3 years. The scholarship, it's 100 teachers are going to be getting this scholarship. We got 14,000 teachers on more than 14,000 teachers. 100 teachers will be getting per year. The housing revolving project is not across the board. It's only a certain group of teachers, might be 100, if so many will receive it at a time. So teachers will be in the system, and some of them will leave the system and not be able to receive those kinds of benefits. The only benefits teachers across the board will be receiving would be that of the clothing allowance, which is a meager sum that they're giving us, and the increases in salary, which is even more meager. One of the things our teachers are saying to us, and this is the talk that they're talking, and I have echoed this a whole lot. Teachers are saying to the Ministry of Education and by extension the government, yes, we hear you on 10%, but tell us what is 10% equal to, or what's the equivalent in dollars after you would have taken out the taxes. Tell us what is 10% in dollars. We why hear 10%. Tell us what it's equivalent to in dollars. Because they cited the fact that a couple of months ago, 3 eggs you were able to buy for $100. Now, 1 egg is $100. So tell us what's the equivalent in dollars. We want to hear the 10%. Tell us. But of course, you know, teachers have done their calculations and they know in some of the categories, you're going to receive 5,000, 8,000, at 12,000, if so much in some instances. So the increase, the majority of our teachers, the masses of the teachers are not going to be getting any kind of big increases with that 10%. So come on, PPP. Think big. Just the same way you came big with that $1 trillion budget, think big for teachers. Mark, let me say this one. This one is really, really sad. Where teachers are going through mental health issues. And you know, there is no care in the world for them coming from the Ministry of Education. None whatsoever.
Are you saying Priya doesn't care?
Man, you hear what I'm telling you?
Pretend
You
that
hear what I'm saying to you?
Wow.
Teachers suffer all the time, and there is no care in the world for them, none whatsoever. There's a welfare department for the students, the pupils, and the smaller ones who we call the learners, but there's no welfare department to look after the interest of teachers. We have asked in this proposal for a health risk allowance for teachers. You know what this disgraceful government is saying to us? NIS takes care of health issues, but we can set up the public hospitals, Georgetown Hospital, and this hospital, and that hospital, and we can do outreaches, once per year outreach, to deal with teachers with not health issues, primarily for teachers, but they're going to set up tents in communities where all and sundry will come. I don't know how that is going to benefit teachers in particular. While I don't have a difficulty with other persons being accommodated at the time, how much so can we do for teachers? And I asked yesterday it was, yes, I asked them, I said, when you set up these outreaches, would we be able to do pap smears at those outreaches? What kind of service are we offering? You just come, they shine a light in your eyes, they test your blood pressure, test your blood sugar. Teachers are suffering much more than that. And so we don't want these wild outreaches that you will start for 1 month or 2 months or 3 months, and then you put it goes dead like and disappear like Sue. We want to have health, we want to have risk and health allowances so that our teachers can go. And we even said to them, Mark, maybe you can offer a card, a voucher, so that teachers can go to any institution, whether private or public, to get whatever service they want. Because if you go to Georgetown Hospital, you sit down from now till tomorrow morning because of the amount of persons that they have to look at the hospital. So there's no priority there given for teachers. And this wicked government is saying to us that they're going to do outreaches that will solve the teachers' problems. But that doesn't take care of your risk. It doesn't take care of your risk. And so here again, 2 issues in our proposal, all the teachers across this country will benefit from. Every other, and we talk, and the additional qualifications, well, that still will not benefit all of our teachers. 2 issues primarily will benefit them. And this wicked government and that crazy man Jagdio is talking about, oh, we're doing housing revolving, we're doing uniform clothing allowance, we're doing duty free, as if to say all teachers getting duty free, all teachers ain't getting it. So don't let them carry away with their propaganda as they usually do. All teachers will not get that. The hinterland teachers will be able to get the hardline allowance. Yes, the latrine pit too, the latrine toilet or the pit latrine, they will be able to get those. These are the conditions that the teachers in the hinterland will have to work under because they're outside of the eyes of the general public. And then you see them go down there and they smile up with these same teachers. But teachers are even wiser at this time. And they understand what is happening. And they know what they're going to do. And let me tell Jagdio that the teachers would have elected Coretta MacDonald since 2006 as their general secretary, and they continue to elect her. And the teachers will elect Coretta MacDonald again. So don't run around yourself, because they found in Coretta MacDonald, who is the subject for Jagdio at this time, they found in her a woman of strength who doesn't stand one side. When the coalition, let me remind their viewers, when the coalition was in government, Coretta MacDonald was front and foremost when we took industrial action. When I fought for the teachers, Saddam Hussein can't stand up and tell Priya when she's wrong at any time. Saddam Hussein, who was appointed by Irfan Ali, he can't stand up and tell Irfan, man, no, don't do that. Treat the teachers better, or he'd have to walk and look for his dinner. But I stood up and protested against my government when they were in power. None of them in the PPP can do that. Jagdio did the most None of them could say anything. Dharamlal did what he did there. None of them could open their mouths and say anything. Dharamlal returned and got what the fourth highest votes at their Congress, and all of them mouth zip. They can't talk. So let them don't come around Coretta MacDonald, because she's not an easy Berbice girl to deal with. Mark, and you know that. I eat enough Congo fish and with the broth. I eat enough cook up rice and so on. So I'm strong. So Jack, dear, when you come around and you're talking your nonsense, you're making me even stronger and even more resolute to fight you.
You know, Miss McDonald, he doesn't know that a couple of things you left out that you ate while you were in a quarantine, because I saw you when we were little kids. You used to eat chanchi. Chanchi. There's a lot of people. Let me see if them in the audience know what chanchi and coconut ox. Chanchi. Miss McDonald, it's always a pleasure to have you on. Don't be a stranger. Jack Day must understand that they will be continue to be exposed at every level.
Yes.
They do not care about teachers. They do not care about workers. They do not care about the country. All they care about is corruption upon corruption upon corruption. In just about 1 minute or so, as we close off for the night, where do you guys go from here as it regards to the rejection of the deal?
Well, Mark, what we have rejected there is only the salary increases, but like I said, there are several other aspects of that proposal. We still need to go through those other aspects of the proposal and agree on what has been asked there, because we still have many unresolved issues that we have to conform and agree on. So we still have time to go through that. But the major issue is that of the salaries. And I think when we get to the point where the salary issue is the only issue that we have to look at now and we continue to reject, then we will have to go to the point of when we get to that, if we get to that stalemate, then we will have to go to the point of conciliation. That process, the process is all over again. So we go to the process of conciliation. And if that doesn't work, then we may have to go to arbitration. But I'm hoping that these guys, these crazy people who think that because they got monies, they could bribe the citizens of this country, I want them to remember that next year, as according to Barajagdio, is an elections year. And 14,000 teachers, let me put this on the record, 14,000 teachers multiplied by 3. And so I'm talking here a teacher, the teacher's husband, and a child who's voting age, multiplied by 3. I've not mentioned yet the teacher has a mother, a father, a brother, a sister, 2 nieces, 3 nephews who are voting age. The teacher's spouse got the same thing on that side. So I hope they're doing the calculations. Maybe they're thinking that they're going to rush in those, they're going to use the Venezuelans to vote. They're going to bring persons from Suriname, like, it was touted that they did in 2020, bring them at 48th shore and get them to vote and then ferry them back over. And maybe they think that they're going to have all these Trinidadians who they have in the country, they're giving contracts to, and maybe those from Bangladesh and all over the place that they're having them coming from, they're going to give them ID cards and allow them to vote. But they better start thinking fast if they haven't done that as yet. And so our teachers understand, our teachers on the Essequibo Coast, Mark, I must give gratitude, say gratitude, and say how thankful we are to those teachers on the Essequibo Coast. Many of them never got involved in a strike action, but they felt what was happening and they came out in their numbers in Region 2. We have our young teacher there, Mr. Martin Samaru. I think you know the name by now. Martin was out there, and Martin is being victimized by this wicked government as we speak. Outside of being a teacher, he's a professional photographer, and he does his work along the coast. And they have taken away lots and lots of his contracts. This wicked government, they have done that to Martin because Martin was very vocal during the strike. We've seen teachers in Region 1 who were vocal during the strike. They've been victimized by this government. And that's how they feel that they can instill fear into folks, into our citizens, and have them crumble. But you know what? Those teachers are even stronger at this time. And so, Jagdio, you and Priya and the regional executive officer and the regional chairman in Region 2 and so on in Region 1, y'all ain't making sense. The teachers have written the scripts, and you're going to read the writing on the wall very soon.
Thank you so much. We want to see that writing on the wall. We want to see them scattering in terms of helter-skelter, all of the wrong things that they're doing to the teachers. Shame on Priya Manik Chand. Shame on the PPP. Shame on Irfan Ali. Shame on Bharat Jagdia. You guys continue the good work that you're doing, Miss Coretta McDonald. Lots and lots of support. Let me go. We probably have a lot to do. I feel like going and eat some chanchi right now. When last you had some chanchi on the quarantine?
Well, I am going there next weekend. I'm sure, Mark, you missed sitting down by Cox Corner there, you know? You missed sitting down there.
I missed sitting down and enjoying. Anyway, sorry. This used to be back in the days with the Chronicle. You sit there, you enjoy it.
Mark, you remember those days when you collect the sugar cake and you gone in the toilet and you lock up in the toilet?
and I remember some of those folks. I'm not going to tell them some of the folks you're connected to, Churchill and Leland and Sedo. And loads of people from the quarantine will know those guys.
I know.
Ms. McDonald, thank you so much, though, for your time.
You're so welcome, Mark.
God bless. Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good night, and good night to your viewers. Sure. Bye-bye.
And to all of our listeners as well, we thank you all so much. We'll be back tomorrow, same place, same time, right here on 107.1 FM. And for those of you who don't know Leland, Churchill, and Sedo, then you don't know the quarantine. Leland, Churchill, and Sedo. If you don't know those three persons, then you don't know the quarantine. See you guys later. Thank you all so much for tuning in, every single one of you. We've got to pray for Guyana. We've got to do more than just pray. Just imagine kids at Philippi, not Philippi on the quarantine, Philippi. And look at the classroom. Look at the water in Georgetown and those places. Come on. Just take a look. Look at the bird. Look at those things. Look at the summer. Look at the vagrants. Well, just look from one pit to the next. Just look. All right, guys. See y'all. Have a good rest of the night. God bless you. And don't forget, this weekend in Brooklyn.
Calling all Guyanese and friends of Guyana. Join the annual Guyana Independence Celebration in New York on Sunday, August 18th. The Guyana Independence Parade starts at 12 p.m. at Church and Brooklyn Avenues, Brooklyn, and will proceed to Utica Avenue to Glenwood Avenue for the big after-parade concert at 2 p.m. at 1450 Utica Avenue, Brooklyn, featuring Guyanese DJs, top Guyanese artists, performances by Super Terry, Gucci Boss, Nia, Katie Cash. But wait, there's more. Natural Black, DJ Posse, an international superstar, live from Trinidad and Tobago. First time in New York, Young Brother live in concert. Tickets cost $20 in advance. For tickets, check Eventbrite. Pam's Bakery, 4620 Church Avenue. German's Restaurant, 410 Utica Avenue. And Caribbean Vision Center, 1012 Flatbush Avenue, Brooklyn. Celebrate Guyana to the world on Sunday, August 18th. We celebrating big. Sponsored by Ascent Remediation and Disaster Response and Ascent Handy and Construction.